Before I call the meeting to order, I'll note for the record that I'm serving as chair of the meeting. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York State Urban Development Corporation doing business as Empire State Development, Thursday, August 18th, 2016. As noted on the agenda posted to the internet, we welcome public comment on the items on the agenda. If you're representing yourself, you can speak for up to 2 minutes. If you're representing a group, you can have the floor for up to 4 minutes, only relating to items on our agenda, please. At this time, I'll ask the directors whether anyone has a conflict of interest on any of the items on the agenda, and we'll note that for the record and remind you to abstain. None. Please note that when we turn to the project section, we will continue the process of focusing on each region's strategic plan, and we will vote on the projects in total by each region. And all the directors have received the materials in advance, are of course free to ask questions at any time. And the first item on today's agenda is the approval of the minutes of the July 21st, 2016 directors meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So
Thank you. Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Changes? Thank you. I'm going to now introduce the board and everyone in the room and the many people watching to Elaine Kloss, who is our new CFO. And I asked Elaine to spend a moment or two introducing herself and telling you a bit about her background. I know you have some materials on Elaine in your book, but we wanted to welcome Elaine. We're going to vote shortly on appointing Elaine as an officer of the corporation, but we're very pleased to have you, Elaine, and maybe you can tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm delighted to be here today, and just a little background, I've lived in 9 states on the East Coast and Australia twice. This has been my home for the past 30 years, and most of my career was spent in the private sector working for various corporations in finance and treasury. I started my career at the Federal Reserve Board in Washington, D.C., so I've gone full circle, and the last 6 years I've spent with the City of New York serving as the treasurer. And it was a privilege to serve in that role, and I think that this is even a greater role, and I'm honored to be here working for the greatest state in the Union. So I look forward to getting to know all of you and working with you in the coming weeks and months. Today is my 14th day in the job. I've met a lot of people, and Peter just asked me what my mission is and what my strategy is, my strategic goals, and we're forming them. We don't have them all hard-coded yet, but my team is putting together a little mission statement, and we're looking at everything with a fresh set of eyes. I think the operations were very well run, but we can always see improvements. So, thank you.
Great, thanks, Elaine. I'll now ask the directors to approve the appointment of Elaine Kloss as an officer of the corporation, specifically its chief financial officer. Are there any questions or comments from the directors for Elaine or on this matter in general?
Is there
Yes.
a difference between being an employee and an officer of the corporation? In other words, you hired her. You obviously can hire anybody you want. We're now being asked to approve another status for her, or is it?
Yeah, we're asking for your approval to have her be an officer of the corporation, which gives her some, I think, additional responsibilities than she would otherwise.
Got it. I so move.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Elaine, you're a hit. Okay. Let me see. I'll now ask Rob Godley to present an item relating to the designation of additional officers to act as signatories for the corporation's disbursements. Rob.
Thank you, Howard, and good morning. This item is to make the Assistant Treasurer Debt Management and the Assistant Treasurer Treasury Operations officers of the corporation, and to make these positions, along with the position of Chief Operating Officer, designated as authorized signatories on all bank accounts and entrusted with the ability to disperse corporate funds. Currently, Kevin Eunice holds the position of Chief Operating Officer. Peter Heilbrunn holds the position of Assistant Treasurer, Debt Management, and Steve Joes holds the position of Assistant Treasurer, Treasury Operations. Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions sorry,
How many people have the authority to do something?
how many, with this change adopted, how many people would have the authority?
There'll be 8 people with this.
8.
Any other questions or comments? Any comments from the public on this item? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thanks, Rob. We'll now move to the report section. I'm going to start with just a couple of highlights since our last meeting from my standpoint. I had the opportunity to participate in the White House Office of Science, Technology, and Policy workshop relating to unmanned aerial systems recently, and you may recall that is really the key focus area of the Central New York region. So we were there with some folks from Central New York, Center State CEO, ESD people, and it was a great opportunity to network with the industry. It was an opportunity to announce, as the governor did, a $5 million commitment to advance the planning for what will be a multi-year development effort in Central New York around this industry. We're going to focus on, we work with NASA. We participated in a conference with them last year. So we're focused on testing, sort of becoming the certified proving testing, sort of J.D. Powers, so to speak, of the drone industry, and also working on traffic management systems for drones. These are vehicles that have incredible civilian use opportunity, whether it's search and rescue, whether it's for agricultural purposes, whether it's for inspecting vital infrastructure or protecting vital infrastructure. So it's a significant focus of ours. We have a real cluster of this in the sensor technology and other capabilities in Central New York. So it was great to participate, and we've made a lot of good contacts in the private sector that we're in touch with and talking about development opportunity and investment opportunity in Central New York. We had, the governor really headlined and organized our first Sustainable Development and Collaborative Governance conference in Syracuse recently, and this really was a great forum to highlight what we sometimes talk about as his holistic approach to economic development. So whether you're talking about downtown revitalization, workforce development, innovation, housing, transportation, the whole ecosystem of real sustainable economic development. It was, I think, very well done, and I think ESD was pleased and proud to participate with him in that. And these will happen across the state. So this was the kickoff conference, but there will be others that follow. I have a prop. I try to, have an interesting prop. This is an apple, in case you were wondering what that is. And it's got a New York State grown and certified sticker on it. And the governor recently rolled out this program, which is a voluntary program for New York State farmers to participate in. It basically highlights the fact that this is grown in New York in a sustainable manner. We partner with Ag and Markets in helping to promote it and to develop it. It's great. There's a real increasing interest in where's your food coming from, is it local or not, and there's even opportunity for export where there are a lot of places around the world where people aren't necessarily 100% confident in the source of food or the quality of food, and I think having a New York State certified program is great for the agricultural sector, which is so important here in New York State. So I wanted to mention that. For the many of you who have watched the Olympics and how well the Americans have done in the Olympics, I think we could trace that success right back to Chobani yogurt made right here in New York. 32,000 cups of Chobani Greek yogurt arrived at the 2016 Olympic Summer Games in Rio, and as you know, this yogurt is made in Shenango County in the southern tier, so we're very proud, and I know some of you saw the Chobani ads. We had the opportunity to be with the governor and announce 600 jobs in Western New York at Geico. Now that will take them up to about 3,500 jobs. Also had the opportunity to meet the gecko. I feel like I've developed a better relationship with the gecko than some of the legislators, but we'll keep working on that. It's my pleasure to introduce everyone to Megan Taylor, who's our regional director in the Mid-Hudson. Megan will give you a little background on herself before she launches into the presentation, but I do want to point out that in our upstate regions, the Mid-Hudson is really the largest upstate region, both in terms of population, in terms of GDP, number of firms, number of jobs. So it's critically important, and it has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the state of New York at 4% or below. And Megan's done a great job, and we'll turn the floor over to Megan.
Thank you, Howard, and good morning, everybody. Pleasure to be here and talking to you about the Mid-Hudson. Just really quickly, I guess, a little bit about myself. So I was born and raised in the Mid-Hudson and have worked in various county economic development agencies prior to me taking my role with the state last January. So it has been an absolutely fantastic year and a half, or a little bit over that. Looking forward to a long career here with Empire State Development, and it really has been a pleasure. So without any further ado, I just wanted to give you an overview of the Mid-Hudson and highlight some of the various key projects that we've been working on throughout the coming years. So the Hudson Valley is really located a short drive away from New York City and incorporates 7 counties, of which are Dutchess, Orange, Putnam, Rockland, Sullivan, Ulster, and Westchester. National Geographic Traveler has actually proclaimed the region as one of the top 20 destinations in the world, and that was back in 2013. The region is designated as a natural heritage area. We were one of the first wine-producing regions in the country and home to America's oldest winery, which is the Brotherhood Winery in Orange County. Our scenery is so remarkable it actually has inspired the first arts movement in the U.S. as well, which was the Hudson River School. We have the first military academy that was ever created in the country, West Point, which produces leaders of our country and has been doing so since about 1802. We are home to the Vanderbilts, Roosevelts, and Rockefellers, names that I'm sure everybody around this table is fully familiar with. And really, the Hudson Valley has all of the intrigue of the past wrapped into the comforts of the 21st century. So proximity is everything within our business of economic development, and the Hudson Valley extends approximately 100 miles above the tip of Manhattan, and we always like to say that an investment in the Mid-Hudson is truly an investment in the entire state of New York. We border 2 of our major competitors, being Connecticut and New Jersey, and we really are a transition region between downstate and upstate, bordering New York City, the capital region, and the southern tier as well. We have a significant and extensive road infrastructure, Amtrak, MTA. You can really get anywhere from any point of the Mid-Hudson, which is why I think, which we can account a lot of our success to the significant infrastructure, like I said, that we have. So in addition to that, you actually need some really great population, some job growth, and educational attainment, which thankfully we do have as well. So our population is continuing to grow. Total population in the region is about 2.3 million, and it has increased about 3.8% over the past years. Job growth is also up. As Howard was saying, our unemployment is one of the best in the state. It's about 4.7%, but that was as of June, and we know our GOL numbers need to be updated or are updated very frequently. So our private sector job growth is continuing to increase as well. It's up about 7% over the last 5 years. Again, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit in more detail, but our educational attainment in the region is, I think, by far one of the best in the state as well. And in addition to that, our poverty rate is continuing to decline, which is one of the key focuses of the Regional Council in the various initiatives that we have. One of the things that's really important, I think, to note too, is that our STEM enrollments, so those students involved in science, technology, engineering, and math, have been significantly increasing over the years. Just in engineering alone, we've seen over a 1,000% increase in enrollment in engineering degrees since 2004. And again, that's attesting to our significant higher educational attainment and our very educated workforce. So just going into a little bit of what we have in the region. So we really offer one of America's most vibrant business climates with 1.2 million highly educated workers and hundreds of Fortune 500 companies. The Hudson Valley harnesses a high concentration of colleges and universities, which graduate more than 20,000 skilled job seekers every year. We have one of the highest percentages of adults with at least a bachelor's degree, the highest number of patents filed from our region from 2009 to 2013 in the state, over 600 tourist attractions, and that varies from our arts and music centers to our natural parks, recreation and gaming, and tours and sightseeing. There's a little bit of everything in the Mid-Hudson. Our average annual wages, too, is pretty significant. It's about $58,000 a year. And really, with the combination of better living and a vibrant economy, it really makes the Mid-Hudson or the Hudson Valley a great place for many to call home. So with that being said, I wanted to highlight, as I mentioned previously, some of the key projects that have taken place in the Mid-Hudson over the past year and a half. One of them is Regeneron Pharmaceuticals. We tout ourselves for being very innovative in the Mid-Hudson, and Regeneron Pharmaceuticals is really the epitome of that. They've invested, or are going to be investing, about $150 million to enhance and expand the laboratory and office space at their existing location in the village of Tarrytown in Westchester County, adding an additional 300,000 square feet to their headquarters and enabling the company to commit to hiring 500 new full-time equivalents by 2019, of which they've hired about 250 to date. I have had the pleasure of working side by side with the gentleman that you see up on the screen, President, Founder, and CEO of Regeneron, Len Schleifer. He is one of the co-chairs of the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council. He is absolutely fantastic. He is a character. He is an innovator, and there is really once you meet him and after talking to him for about 5 minutes, you understand why he has been the face and really the reason why Regeneron has been so successful. So we are very lucky to have such a great relationship, and the region really has been thriving because of companies like his. One of the other ones, just again building off of that innovation in the region, is Metallized Carbon Corporation. I was lucky enough to be able to speak at a recent groundbreaking that they had in July. Metallized Carbon Corporation actually has a facility in Ossining in Westchester County, but they are going to be building and investing about $4.8 million in a pilot production facility up in Sullivan County in a different part of the region for an expansion and addition to their aerospace and materials division. They're going to be adding 10 net new jobs and retaining the 117 in the Ossining facility. And again, this is a pilot production of which they received a contract for with one of the federal government agencies. And while this project is only going to be 10 net new jobs, the addition and expansion, if in fact this pilot production does work, will be creating a significant number of additional jobs. They're a great family-run company, and they've been doing absolutely fantastic work in the region and will continue to do so. So one of the things, Howard, I'm sorry, I had to do it. So in terms of some of the key areas of focus that we have as well, innovation is one of them, as we just highlighted, but also tourism. The region is very robust in our tourism industries, and we had the opportunity to have the governor host the Catskill Challenge, and where he announced an ad campaign for the Catskill region that I'll talk about in a minute. But Howard, as you can see up on the screen, was a fantastic MC of the day. The Catskill Challenge was part of of the governor's work to highlight what we have here in the Catskills. It was really modeled after what was done up in the Adirondacks for the Adirondack Challenge. But this really brought together local elected officials, tourism industry leaders, and outdoor enthusiasts who took part in activities that span the many outdoor recreational amenities available, including rafting, biking, hiking, fly fishing. I heard Howard was a champion in the bocce tournament, and I am happy to report back also that I was able to play soccer on Team Cuomo against Team Legislatures, and Team Cuomo did win. We did bring home the Cuomo Cup as well. So but I felt that this picture was really relevant to have up here today. It was a fantastic day. It was held at Bethel Woods up in Sullivan County. And really, it did culminate. We had Robert De Niro there, who is a longtime Sullivan County resident, and he opened up the day. It was a wonderful example of really what we have to offer in the Catskills, and really was a fantastic day. So, Howard, I hope you enjoy this picture as well.
Yes, we'll get even at some point.
So speaking of Sullivan County and still going on the tourism key industry for the region, we are very excited that one of the gaming licenses that was issued back in December of 2014 was issued to the Montreat Casino, which will be located in Sullivan County as well. They received their gaming license in 2015. This $1 billion entertainment and lifestyle complex located in Camisha Lake broke ground last year. They are making tremendous progress, and they really are. It's going to be a wonderful facility. To date, the Montreat has completed the site work for the underground facilities and constructed the 4-story underground parking garage, which will really form the base for the casino floor. It has begun building its steel framework and has started going vertical, which will house the casino and the 18-story hotel. They have 300 construction workers on site, which will rise to over 2,000 by next summer when the construction really begins to get underway. And they've started hiring already their table managers and dealers for the casino, which is expected to open by the fourth quarter of 2017. This is a rendering that you see up on the screen, but I thought it would be really representative of what is to come there. And it is something that Sullivan County is extremely excited for, and they really think that it's going to be a jolt into their economy, which they need. They really do need the help. So again, staying on this tourism kick for a second, one of the things that I think the region is continuing to be well known for is the walkway over the Hudson. So this walkway over the Hudson opened up a few years ago. It was an old train bridge that has been now opened. They attract over about 500 visitors annually, and the governor just announced another $5.5 million in projects to construct two entryways, one on the east side and one on the west side. And they are going to house different things like public restrooms and cafes and things that really will continue to make this a huge tourist attraction for years to come. It is a fantastic opportunity. I encourage all of you to to go and visit this. It is absolutely gorgeous. You can see up and down the Hudson River. There's a very tall glass elevator that you can take, so now it is ADA accessible as well. It is an absolutely spectacular view and a really great time. There's a marathon that they hold on the walkway over the Hudson every year, and again, like I said, they're attracting right now about 500,000 visitors annually, and we hope with these improvements to the east and west end entrances that those numbers will just continue to increase. So
Dyson was an important contributor to that.
Dyson was an extremely important contributor and has been an advocate for this project from the very, very beginning. Absolutely. And so I would be remiss if I did not talk about the new New York Bridge. This is one of the biggest infrastructure projects going on across the country right now. I actually cross this bridge almost every single day, and I can tell you that the progress that is being made is absolutely tremendous. This bridge is going up so quickly. It is a $3.9 billion project. It is on budget, on schedule, and it is set to be complete in very late 2018. But if any of you have crossed the bridge over the last few months, you can see the significant progress that is being made. And there is a significant number of New York companies being working and really taking advantage of this tremendous opportunity. So just talking really quickly about Startup New York, we have 12 approved Mid-Hudson campuses throughout the region, 6 approved businesses, which have been set to create about 206 net new jobs, and about $5.2 million being invested from those 6 approved businesses. There are 6 pending right now, and the main industries of focus across the 12 approved Mid-Hudson campuses are really advanced materials and manufacturing, clean tech and renewable energy, and tech and electronics. It has been very successful in the Mid-Hudson. We're continuing to try to identify companies that can take advantage of this fantastic program, and we will definitely keep you posted as this progresses. So just going into the regional council for a second, I wanted to give you an overview of what we are focusing on in the Mid-Hudson. As I had said, Dr. Len Schleifer, President and CEO of Regeneron, is one of our co-chairs, as well as Dr. Dennis Murray, who is President Emeritus now of Marist College. He was president for about 32 or 33 years at Marist, and just celebrated his retirement last year, but he is not going far. He is still Director Emeritus, and he's going to be a professor at the school as well. But they have been they have shown tremendous leadership over the last 5 or 6 years, and really have been great assets to not only to Empire State Development but to the region. So in round 1 of the CFA, we actually, back in 2011, the Mid-Hudson Regional Plan had about 15 goals and strategies that were designed to capture the complexity of our region, which extends from Westchester to Sullivan County, as we mentioned. We really are the only region in the state, I believe, with such diversity. So we have everything from Westchester County to the very rural parts of Sullivan County. And from the demographics of our population to the urban-suburban character of the southern counties to the increasing rural character of the northern counties. Based on those 15 goals or so from 2011, we have now dwindled this down, or really refocused our efforts on these 4 core goals and strategies that you see up on the screen. So they really are investing in technology, capturing the biotech, biomed, advanced manufacturing, and information technology sectors, attracting and retaining our mature industries like distribution, food and beverage, and financial and professional services, growing our natural resources, and really not forgetting about revitalizing the region's infrastructure. We've been named a 2-time top performer. We've been named twice a top performer in the competition, bringing in over $400 million to support about 469 projects. So we will continue to strive to hone those goals to make sure that we're capturing everything that we can within the region. We do have a proven track record when it comes to our CFAs. 91% of our awarded projects have are either progressing or have been completed over the past 6 years. So like I said, again, of those 469 projects, 91% of them are moving forward or have been completed. Going into this year and really building off of what we had submitted for our Upstate Revitalization Plan last year was what you see in front of you, this live, work, play strategy. Again, we tried to continue to hone our strategies to make sure that we were really capturing and identifying what the needs of the economy were within the region. The LIVE strategy is really one that builds upon revitalizing the region's infrastructure and focusing on our downtowns and making sure that we're not forgetting about our main streets and our smaller businesses, and really trying to encourage smart growth, transit-oriented development, prevent sprawl, and really attract our millennials back to the region so they can hopefully live, work, and play right here within the region. One of the projects that I wanted to highlight that has that really speaks to this initiative was the Sawmill River Daylighting Project in the city of Yonkers in Westchester County. This has been a multi-phase project. For those that don't know, the Sawmill River was actually buried years ago under massive amounts of concrete and roads, and one of the key projects of the city was to daylight that Sawmill River and really create these river-themed parks throughout the city. They have been extremely successful, really bringing people outside in the city of Yonkers and highlighting the many assets that the city has. And we are now, this is a picture of phase 2, which is the Mill Street courtyard of this project. And the city is now, I believe, on actually phase 4 of this. So there's different parts throughout the city that they're focusing on doing. But again, it has been extremely successful, and the state has been very supportive of that initiative as well. So the next initiative was our work strategy, and this really was an industry-based initiative that focused on our high-tech, high-wage paying jobs within the region. Again, we have a very talented workforce. We are continuing to try to attract those biotech and biopharma companies, and really foster an innovative culture to increase private sector investment in the region. One of the ones that I like to highlight when we talk about, because I think this is so successful on so many levels, was a project that was a priority project 2 years ago through the regional two or 3 years ago, actually, through the regional council. Matrix Development Group was a national construction and development company, and they owned a site in the town of Newburgh for many, many years and never did anything with it. They had a very hard time bringing the site to a shovel-ready status, and had submitted a CFA, were designated as a priority project, brought the site to a shovel-ready status with help and investment from the state of New York. And then after the site was at a shovel-ready state, they were extremely more competitive in terms of attracting different companies. Now we have AmerisourceBergen, which is a wholesale pharmaceutical distributor, coming in because of the site being at a shovel-ready state, and they will now be creating 121 new full-time equivalents, building about a 300 and something thousand square foot facility, creating 300 construction jobs, and in addition, Matrix has committed to building about 225,000 square feet of speculative development on the same site. So it really does show the relationship and the significance of the state's investment through the CFA process, but then really going a step further and assisting the region in attracting these great companies. So getting just really quickly into our play initiative. This again is really building upon the significant tourism aspects that we have throughout the region. We really want to be a regional tourist destination like Napa is to California. The Mid-Hudson has everything that you could possibly want, like I said, from arts, culture, history, recreational assets, our proximity to New York City. We have it all, and we really want to help our tourism agencies and our communities in packaging a really successful branding campaign so that everybody will want to visit the Mid-Hudson region. One of the ones that we are highlighting for this category is the Sing Sing Museum. I know this is somewhat out of character, but
This is Len.
this is Len. Yes, this is Len. Len loves this project. The Sing Sing Museum is in Ossining in Westchester County. It was home to one of the first electric chairs. I know that's not necessarily a great thing to highlight, but for those that have visited California and visited Alcatraz, people like to see prisons. People like to visit, and they will come far and wide to visit this. So we have there's a project in place right now that is trying to develop the museum in the former powerhouse building and gaining access to the 1825 cell block, which was the home of the first electric chair. So this is in process. Through the CFA, we had funded a feasibility study to do this. They are now moving on to the subsequent phases of actual construction. It is actually on a beautiful site right next to the Hudson River. So if done properly, I think that this could really be a tremendous asset for the region and capitalizing on one of the most historic, prisons that we have here within the state. So we will keep you posted on that one. And then just really quickly talking about the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, we had yes. I know, I'm just sitting right across from the chairman. We had a significant participation from many, many municipalities within the region. I have to say it was one of the hardest decisions that the Regional Council has had to make over the past 6 years, choosing just one of those communities to be the awardee of the $10 million. Thankfully, we were we were the second second region to be announced. But we were very happy that the city of Middletown was our chosen downtown revitalization community. The picture on the screen you see is when the governor came and awarded the city of Middletown with their big $10 million check. The city of Middletown, just talking really quickly, really is poised for success. Population of the city is about 28,000 people. It is located in Orange County. The community, or the definition of the DRI area, is really their business improvement district, which encompasses 225 parcels on 124 acres. And just some of the reasons why we chose the city of Middletown: they have a great mix of commercial, cultural, civic, institutional, residential, and recreational uses. The osteopathic School of Medicine, Toro College, is located in Middletown, as well as SUNY Orange. It is highly walkable and easily accessible via foot, bicycle, public transportation, and car. to surrounding neighborhoods and employment centers and elsewhere in the city and the region. They have tremendous local leadership and local support, and we really are very excited to be working with them as we go into the next steps of the DRI and implementing the strategies that they have identified. So again, we will keep you informed on that, but we really are very very excited for them. So
What are the other downtown areas that were seriously considered?
I don't know if we can actually share that at this point, but there were 36 applications submitted.
Well, I was supposed to be at the ITC, that didn't work out.
Who is that?
I'm not sure. And that is actually all I have, but I'd be happy to take any questions from any of you or elaborate on anything else that was made or that was said.
One quick question. Legoland,
Yes.
what happened?
What happened? Legoland is moving forward. So Legoland was originally looking at a site in Haverstraw in Rockland County.
Maybe you should tell the folks what Legoland is.
Sure. So the Legoland theme park is just that. It's a huge theme park that Legoland has built. There's a few throughout. The flagship one is in Carlsbad, I believe, actually, in California, and it's an amusement park that is built by Legoland. There's various different aspects of the park. Huge tourist attraction, has been extremely successful. Targets families with children from about 5 to 12, give or take. There's some of them have a water park theme to them, but the one in the Mid-Hudson will not at this point in time. But it is an absolutely fantastic place to bring families and young children. Very interactive, very similar to a Disney World type thing, but really focused on Legos and building and innovation and really getting the children hands-on with what they can create and build. So Legoland had identified the Mid-Hudson as a place for their next theme park to be built on the East Coast. They've been looking at the East Coast for many years, but really honed in on the Mid-Hudson. They were originally looking at a site in Rockland County in Haverstraw. Because of some, I'll call them local issues, they decided not to move forward there. And they are seriously considering a site in Orange County, in Goshen, in the town of Goshen. They are working very closely with the local planning board, with the town board, and local consultants to mitigate some potential issues with traffic and some other things. But they are gung-ho about the Mid-Hudson, and we are doing any and everything we can to help them be successful here. And it would be a huge, huge asset and a huge opportunity for us to capitalize on. So we're very, very excited about it.
Howard, it would be terrific if we got the Legoland on the East Coast.
Is it entirely made out of Legos?
There's actually a lot that is entirely made out of Legos. No joke. I was shocked. Even their name, so that the company officials' name tags are made out of Legos. It's very fun. They held an open house in Goshen just to make sure that people were fully aware of all the aspects of the park. Over 3,000 people came to this open house. Local community members. They are absolutely fantastic community partners, and we really they were designated as a priority project through the regional council the last 2 years, and we're really excited to try to help them be successful here.
So, yeah, and you can appreciate how many tourists there are right here in New York and how proximate the Mid-Hudson is to New York City, so it's a great opportunity. Maybe we can turn those lights off now. And then, this whole, again, concept of the DRI that Cesar's been so instrumental in promoting. So here you have a region that actually has had a population base that has grown a little bit over the last 10 years. But if you sort of pull the, if you pull the curtain back a little further on that population number, what you see is the young population during that time actually decreased. The older population increased, and if we don't recognize that and put in place these types of strategies like the DRI to address it, then you're creating a circumstance in a region where you're sort of less confident in the future than you might otherwise be. So creating the density, the transit-oriented development, the smart growth, and all that is an important part of succeeding in these regions. Most regions in the state have struggled to hold on to young population outside of the New York City region, which is like a magnet. So that's why these strategies, we talk about holistic approach to economic development, are so important. It's not just about jobs. Jobs are an important piece of the puzzle, but the puzzle is larger than that. So when we evaluate these potential winners of the DRI, we look for that. Like, where are they putting in place the strategies to hold on to and attract young people? I think that's an important piece of the puzzle. Any other questions for Megan?
I have another one.
Yep.
You've had two great co-chairs of the REDC. I understand there may be some changes.
Right now, both co-chairs have committed to stay on. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. They have, we've been very, very lucky to have them as leading the charge on the regional council. So as of today, we still have them. So hopefully that will continue.
They're serving their 6th year of their 2-year commitment.
Yes, that's what I like to say as well.
So
Yep.
that's pretty good.
Exactly.
Yeah, any other questions? Okay, good job, Megan. Way to go.
Thank
you. We'll transition to the regional presentations. And what do we start? Are we starting with you, Edwin, or are we starting with Vinny? Where are we? Hold on. Are you going to recap the presentations
Yes.
for us? Okay, go ahead.
A brief overview.
Okay, great,
The directors
thanks.
are going to be considering 14 projects totaling $59,395,350 in grants. The projects include 1 Buffalo Billion Award, 7 Regional Council Awards, and 6 discretionary awards. The projects will take place across New York State in all 10 regions, leverage over $261 million of additional investment, retain 702 jobs, and create 505 jobs in the state. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Edwin. Vinny, are you on the line?
I am. Good morning, Howard and directors. How are you?
Good. Thank you, welcome.
Good. I have 3 projects for your consideration today, the first 2 of which are directly related. The first being, directors are asked to approve an additional $28 million grant for the cost of land acquisition, engineering, and infrastructure construction for the first Western New York stamp tenant, 1366 Technologies. If you recall, on November 19th at your meeting in 2015, you approved the initial $5 million of this same appropriation for acquisition of land and soft costs, but could not approve the balance, which was for construction, until the environmental process was completed. That process has now been completed. The project is prepared to break ground this fall, and infrastructure is expected to be fully completed next year by December. This is part of $33 million allocation from the Buffalo Billion that was contingent upon being released until there was a long-term tenant committed to stamp, which leads me to my second project, where the directors are being asked to approve $18 million grant from the Upstate Revitalization Initiative for the cost of building construction and on-site infrastructure for that first tenant, 1366 Technologies. The governor announced this project last October. This is a company based in Massachusetts that has pioneered a new approach to solar wafer manufacturing. The company chose the stamp site after a worldwide search, but primarily focused in North America and considering several other states. In addition to having a low-cost power option and a strong workforce being directly in between Buffalo and Rochester, the company was impressed with the commitment to grow advanced manufacturing at the stamp site and allow them to grow. The initial project calls for a 3-gigawatt solar facility that will be a $112 million project for this phase. Subsequent phases and total investment is expected to reach $700 million. In order to encourage the company to establish this manufacturing operation in New York, a number of state agencies, as well as the Federal Department of Energy, provided incentives that will allow this project to move forward and begin construction this fall, with an expected completion of December 2017 for producing solar wafers on site. This has also been completed, its environmental review, which is why it's being brought forward for the directors at this time. The third project, which is unrelated, which is a very successful project called Love Beats USA, the directors are being asked to approve a $1 million capital grant as a portion of the incentive proposal for this project. For the cost of infrastructure improvements and a new beet processing facility, Love Beets is a joint venture between Rochester-based food company Ledestri Foods and the UK company G's Fresh Limited, which is one of Europe's leading fresh food producers. Governor Cuomo announced this proposal in this partnership, in 2015, in April of 2015, to produce marinated baby beets at a New York City market and along the East Coast. The G's Fresh has distributed these Love Beets brand worldwide through major retailers. This project represents their first North American production facility, which is located in the Eastman Business Park, which you may recall from previous presentations, is a massive 1,200-acre mixed-use industrial site in Rochester that is the former home of Eastman Kodak Company. The company pledged to create at least 57 new jobs, and I'm very pleased to announce that with their grand opening last week, they've already created in excess of 90 jobs, and has been a very strong success. The project reinforces the movement to support locally grown farm-to-table foods. In fact, part of our incentive offer requires that they source their beets from local upstate New York farmers before the grant will be fully dispersed. It aligns with the governor's Taste New York program, as well as the Certified New York program that Howard mentioned in his opening remarks, as well as the Finger Lakes Regional Council's strategy to promote ag and food as a strategic industry cluster. This project, as I mentioned previously, was completed in June, had a grand opening last week, and is moving forward very successfully.
Thanks, Vinny. I'll only add that in all cases, these projects are really strongly aligned with the Finger Lakes Regional Plan. You've got photonics, you've got clean energy, you've got food processing, you've got smart growth around repurposing the Eastman Business Park. This has great alignment with an excellent plan. And in the case of STAMP, obviously this project has really been a priority now. It's been 10 years in the making, so it's exciting to see it get to this point. Anyway, are there any questions or comments from the directors for Vinny on either of these three items?
I just want to know whether Vinny has tasted Love Beets.
Yeah, Vinny, do you like Love Beets?
I like them more than I thought I was going to.
Okay, that's slightly
They're
less.
not bad. I encourage you to try them when you see them in the supermarket and know they're made in Rochester.
Okay. Is that an endorsement? They're not
I
bad.
think
They're good. They're good.
They're darn good.
Vinny, could I ask you a couple of quick questions about the 1366? So
Absolutely.
on page 7, they talk about how the equity contribution of the grantee was lowered from 2% to 0. Can you just explain that a bit?
I'm not familiar with that lowering. I know we've had a whole bunch of negotiations with the company on the first phase with a variety of incentives. So this $18 million grant is a portion of the incentives we're providing, which includes a New York State Venture Capital Innovation Fund investment, and to my knowledge, does include an equity investment by 1366. I'm receiving a note from my project manager that your question might be related to the other grant for Genesee County Economic Development Corporation to remove their equity component on the infrastructure, which is something that's consistent with what we've done in other industrial parks of this scale as we've helped build them from the state perspective. So that might be, and I'm sorry if it's not directly answering your question, might be what you're referring to.
No, it does answer the question. So the first grant, the grantee is really the Genesee County Economic Development Center, not 1366.
Right.
In fact, yes. In fact, in both cases, they are the recipient. That's right. That's a very good point. GCEDC is the recipient of the grant to do the infrastructure. They are also the recipient of the grant, the URI grant for $18 million, to build the facility that 1366 Technologies will lease. So in each case, they're the recipient. They don't have an equity component, but I can assure you 1366 Technologies, the company that's using the facility, does have a significant equity component that has not been lowered.
And that's why the financial information is presented as to Genesee County rather than 1366.
Yes, that's correct. My apologies for not understanding the question.
No, it's helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, Vinny. Any other questions or comments from the directors? Any comments from the public on this item? Is there a motion to approve these items? Moved. Is there a second? Thank you, Cesar. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, thanks so much, Vinnie. Good job. Barry Greenspan from our Long Island region has an item on Amneal Pharmaceutical. Barry?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Howard. Good morning, directors. The board is being asked to approve a $3 million grant for Amneal Pharmaceutical. Amneal Pharmaceutical is located in Brookhaven, Suffolk County, and is one of the region's largest manufacturers of generic drugs. The company approached ESD in 2011 during Regional Council Round 1 and requesting support to construct a 265,000 square foot addition to their existing plant. This was considered a priority project and in fact the largest job creation project the Regional Council has endorsed, creating almost 400 new jobs and retaining 700 new jobs. Amneal is a privately owned pharmaceutical company with headquarters and other manufacturing facilities in New Jersey and India. It was clear back in 2011 that without New York State and local economic development assistance, this important project would have happened outside New York State. The project clearly supports Long Island's focus on biotechnology and pharmaceuticals. The project again has retained 700 existing pharmaceutical jobs at both their Brookhaven location as well as their Hauppauge, Suffolk County locations. Amneal spent over $117 million, far exceeding their original projection of CapEx. The project is nearly complete, expected to open the doors in early 2017, and over 200 of the 400 committed jobs have already been created on the site. So ESD is prepared to make the first grant disbursement, which is a $1.5 million grant, 50% of the original $3 million. Again, this project is clearly supported by the Regional Council, supports our focus on biotechnology and pharma, and the board is asked to approve this first disbursement. I'll take any questions.
Any questions or comments from directors? Yep, Cesar.
I have a comment, and it's got to do with an interest of mine about hiring American workers as opposed to bringing in workers through H-1B visas. I have visited this facility. I don't know to what extent there are American workers, but I think we ought to at least ask what efforts are being made, what percentage of the workers are American workers, and how many are brought in from other countries.
Okay. I don't think we have that information on this project at this time.
No, but I think it's something we ought to ask.
Yeah.
This is right in Suffolk County. We ought to be attracting young people, which brings us back to that theme. And we ought to make a real effort to do that. And you need skilled personnel. And it's quite easy for a company to say, I can't find anybody here. I'm bringing somebody in from somewhere else.
Okay. Other questions or comments? Any comments from the public on this item? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Thank you. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, Jim Fail representing our Central New York region. Jim, are you on the line?
Yes, good morning all. Today I have 3 projects that I'll be presenting to the board. The first project is to World Racing Group, Inc., which is a $1.1 million grant that's being asked to be approved on a $1.1 million project. World Racing Group is the sponsoring agency for Super Dirt Week Motorsports racing event, which occurs in the first week of October here, and has been in the Central New York area for over 40 years. Historically, this race has always been held at the New York State Fairgrounds at the grandstands. Last year, with the announcement by Governor Cuomo to invest more than $50 million in making improvements to the state fair, one of the aspects of that resulted in tearing down the grandstand. So the state worked with the World Racing Group and negotiated a new 10-year contract that would keep them in Central New York for the next 10 years. And they were going to relocate them to a new raceway that was being built up in Oswego County. the Central New York Raceway Park. As part of a contingency and backup plan, since that racetrack was not complete at the time, the state worked with World Racing Group to focus on a contingency plan, which would be to use Oswego Speedway as a backup raceway in case the Central New York Raceway Park was not completed. As part of that incentive, the state agreed to fund any improvements that were needed for that raceway. Approximately a month ago, the World Racing Group toured the facility up in the Central New York Raceway Park along with myself, and it was determined that they would not be completed in time to host this event, which brings about 10,000 visitors to the area over the week period. And we are moving to the backup plan, which would be investing this money to improve grandstands, upgrade some of the utilities that are needed for an event like this, as well as some other amenities that's needed to host this many people, such as a ticket line, etc. So that's the reason for this 100% ask. The total project with the other raceway is about a $60 million project. So, you know, it's a significant project to the area. The second grant would be a $444,000 grant on a $1 million project to Southside Community Coalition, which is a coalition made up of community leaders led by Syracuse University, and this was to help satisfy some of the food desert issues in some of our depressed areas on the south side of Syracuse. So this would be to construct a 3,500 square foot food co-op, with the food co-op working with many of the local farmers to bring fresh foods into this neighborhood. The project has been completed, the facility is open, and they have met their job creation goal of 4 jobs. The final project is to Cazenovia Hospitality, and it's to approve a $1.28 million grant on a $9.1 million project to construct an 80-room hotel and conference center in Cazenovia, New York. This helps to fill a void in this part of a rural Madison County to provide hotel rooms for tourists that come to this area, along with providing rooms for families that are visiting numerous college students. There's 3 major colleges that are very close to this hotel: Cazenovia College, SUNY Morrisville, and Colgate College. So this helps to fill that kind of a void. It was a round 4 priority project for the regional council. The facility is open and operating, and they have met the needs to start drawing down on this grant. I would entertain any questions at this time.
Any questions from the directors on either of these 3 Central New York items? Any comments from the public on either of these items? Is there a motion to approve them? Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Okay. Arturo Rodriguez, project manager with ESD Loans and Grants, will present the next item on today's agenda, the Pier A Taste New York Capital Grant. Arturo.
Thank you, and good morning. The directors are requested to approve a $600,000 capital grant to Pier A Battery Park Associates, LLC. Pier A is a municipal pier in the Hudson River at Battery Park near the southern end of Manhattan. The pier was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1975 and was designated a New York City landmark in 1977. The 28,000 square foot structure can accommodate 400 visitors inside as well as 400 visitors in its outside seating areas. The pier offers a waterfront dining experience that features 9 restaurants and bars that attract both tourists and locals alike. The grant will be used to outfit and brand a 1,000 square foot Taste New York space located at Pier A. The company will also brand various sections of Pier A, including offering educational seminars and tastings of local wine and spirits, offering a selection of New York State craft packaged food items, displaying a range of packaged beer and ciders produced in New York City, offering a range of craft spirits from local distillers, and integrating local products into the food and beverage selections at restaurants located within the pier. The grant will leverage employment for 6 new positions at Pier A, in addition to the 219 positions currently employed there. Based on past year's performance, the Taste of New York store at Pier A will contribute to leveraging millions of dollars in additional product sales for New York's farmers and small businesses. The project commenced in November 2015 and will be completed in December 2016. Thank you.
Any questions for Arturo on this pier project? Any comments from the public on this item? Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Is there a second? There's no second?
Second.
Thank you. Somebody has to say it, I can't make it up. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Thank you, Arturo. Joe Tazwell, who heads our New York City region, has our next item with respect to the very exciting, very topical Silver Cup Studios. Joe.
Good morning, Howard and directors. I have one New York City Regional Council item for your consideration. The directors are being asked to approve a grant of up to $1.6 million to be used for construction and equipping of Silver Cup Studios' new production center facility in the Port Morris section of the Bronx. Since 1983, Silver Cup Studios has been based in Long Island City, Queens, at the former Silver Cup Bakery building. In 1999, it opened another location on Star Avenue in Long Island City. The company has 19 studios at these 2 locations. The new Silver Cup North facility includes a $17.6 million transformation of a 115,000 square foot warehouse located at 295 Locust Avenue in the Bronx. The production facility will feature 4 production studios with 50-foot ceilings, the highest ceiling of any film or TV production studio in New York City, and can easily accommodate 2-story sets. A full complement of shops, offices, and other support spaces will also be included on site. The project is nearly complete, and there is actually a new ABC TV show entitled Time After Time that will soon be shooting at the facility. The project will result in 16 direct new jobs and 400 new production jobs. This project was designated as a priority in round 5 of the REDC initiative. The project will be bringing good-paying jobs from an important industry cluster to the South Bronx, which is one of 15 opportunity zones identified in the New York City Regional Council's strategic plan. Thanks.
Thanks, Joe. You know, I'll just add that, as you know, the New York City region has done a great job of, really making very strategic, transformative investments in the boroughs of New York City region, with a focus on the Bronx, with a focus on Brooklyn, on Staten Island, on Queens, and occasionally here in Manhattan. But by and large, the focus has been on the quote-unquote outer boroughs. And it's had a big impact, and we heard the governor yesterday, and we heard the borough president talk about unemployment in the Bronx having gone down from almost 15% to around 7%. Very significant decrease in unemployment. And you heard the borough president talk about literally $10 billion of investment going on in the Bronx, millions and millions of square feet of redevelopment. It's great to see the Bronx coming back the way it has, and I think this project is emblematic of that, and a great example of how effective this film tax credit has been. This is an industry that has gone from $1.5 billion of direct spending to $3 billion of direct spending in the last 5 years. That's a doubling, at a time when inflation's running at like less than 2% a year. So, this has been a booming industry here in New York in particular, and it's great to see it reflecting now an investment in the Bronx. The Sooners, there's the family that owns the studio, and they're investing over $35 million, and it's ESD is investing, I think, about 1.5 or so, and It's just a fabulous project. Any other comments or questions from the directors? Any comments from the public on this item? Is there a motion to approve? Thank you. Second. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you, Joe. Allison Nowak, Deputy Director of ESD's Mohawk Valley Region, will present an item relating to Unmanned Aerial Systems Training Center at Mohawk Valley Community College. Allison.
Good morning, Chairman and Directors. The directors are being asked to approve a capital grant of $300,000 to be used as a portion of the cost of a project that allows Mohawk Valley Community College to launch a new unmanned aerial systems training and degree program. MVCC already works in conjunction with Griffith Business and Technology Park through operation of their Airframe and Power Plant Technology program, where students receive practical hands-on training in airplane maintenance and repair. With this project, they are partnering with New Air Alliance to include education in the emerging field of unmanned aircraft systems. MVCC purchased training equipment for the Unmanned Aerial Systems Training Center at Griffith International Airport in Rome. Equipment includes operating drones, aerial systems training equipment, software, kits, tablets, and simulators needed to launch the program during the fall 2016 semester. The total budget for the project is $1.5 million, primarily for construction, renovation, and equipment. ESD participation in the project will be 20% of project cost, $300,000. The project is consistent with Mohawk Valley Regional Economic Development Council's plan of driving efficiency, collaboration, and inclusiveness for business and local government throughout the region, and also with providing a direct workforce pipeline to STEM-intensive industries in the region. Thank you.
Great. Any questions from the directors for Allison on this item? Any comments from the public? Is there a motion to approve? I know there is. Thank you. In a second. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Thank you, Allison. Joe Roman, Deputy Director of our Southern Tier Region, will present an item relating to the Rural Initiative Venture Fund. Joe.
Yes, and thank you. Good morning. The directors are requested to approve a grant of $1,650,000 to the Southern Tier Regional Economic Development Corporation, which is a local development corporation which comprises all 8 counties and representation from all 8 counties in the Southern Tier region. And they in turn administer a regional low-interest revolving loan program, which is designed to reduce financial risk and increase the sustainability of agriculture and forestry-based ventures in the region. There's a variety of projects that this entity has done so far to date. This would be the 4th tranche of funding received. So far, there have been 25 projects that have been funded to the tune of private sector investment of about $11 million. The street ec amount that we've put in is about $4.8 million. The program has put over 400 acres back into agricultural production in the Southern Tier, has created 30 jobs, and retained 30 jobs and created 157 new jobs. The program, again, assists the agriculture industry, and our priority activities are development and promotion of value-added agricultural products. And I'll entertain any questions at this point in time.
Any questions for Joe on the rural? Yes, Cesar.
We have more than one grant programs that are administered at the local level. Are these loans being repaid on time? Specifically not in the Southern Tier.
Yeah, Joe, is this a grant or a loan program?
The original application, we allowed it to be either a grant or a loan program. The state provides a grant to Street Ec, and then Street Ec in turn could either give out a grant or a loan. The Street Ec Board of Directors decided that the program would be all loans, so these are loans that are given out to these applicants.
And so I guess the question is, are there any defaults that you're aware of?
At this point in time, under the rural, there is not one default. There's been not a single default under this program, under rural.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments for Joe? Any comments from the public? Is there a motion to approve? Thank you. Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Thank you, Joe. Kelly
Thank you.
Baccarizzo will present the Market New York program for your consideration. Kelly?
Yes, good morning to the board and Howard. We will be requesting the board to approve a Market New York Round 5 Working Capital Grant in the amount of $273,350 to the Erie Canal Way Heritage Fund. The grant will be used by this organization to organize and co-host the 2017 World Canals Conference, taking place September 24th through the 28th in 2017, and will bring international attention as well as increased tourism visitation during the conference to Syracuse and the overall central New York region. And I'd be happy to answer any questions about the project.
Any questions for Kelly on this project? Any comments from the public? Is there a motion to approve? Thank you, Cesar. Second. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Thank you, Kelly. Simone?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Simone has a Restore New York consent calendar presentation. Simone?
Thank you. Good morning.
Aye.
The directors are requested to approve a $1,621,000 Restore Round 3 grant to the Village of New Square in Rockland County for the construction of a 2-story mixed-use development including offices, a supermarket, and a poultry packaging facility. The grant was awarded for demolition of an existing poultry plant at 803 North Main and the eventual construction of a new poultry plant on 806 North Main, the adjoining lot located in Heritage Industrial Park. In 2015, the village amended its original plan by reciting the new facility and revising its use from poultry slaughter to poultry packaging with an adjoining supermarket. The project is estimated to total $6 million and is scheduled to break ground in September of this year, with completion in December 2018. The village is requesting ESD board approval to enable it to finalize financing agreements with the lender and considers the project shovel-ready. Thank you.
Great, Simone. Any questions or comments from the directors on this? Any comments from the public? Motion to approve? Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Excellent. Way to go. Jeff, I'm going to introduce Jeff Januszewski. Jeff has headed, is that the right grammar? Has led our strategic business division for, I think maybe through 12 ESD chairman now, I'm not sure.
No, I've been with the agency that long, but led the division about 6 years.
Okay. I was exaggerating in any case. But Jeff does a fabulous job. He's an institution, I think, across the country with site selectors and economic developers, and he plays a significant role here at ESD. And he will lead the next discussion on the next item on our agenda.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you to the directors for this opportunity to present a marketing grant, a grant for marketing purposes to the New York State Economic Development Council. Now, before I get into the specific 4 components of this grant, the 4 initiatives, I want to explain a little bit about the structure of how we do this. If you don't know, the New York State Economic Development Council is not an economic development organization. It is an organization of economic development organizations. It's a trade association, and we belong, and practically every local economic development organization in the state belongs, as well as the major utilities and their divisions that handle economic development. So it's an organization that's common to all of us, so it makes it a very convenient vessel through which to do collaborative projects. And that's exactly the point of this. While what we're asking for today is $450,000, the 4 initiatives cost $900,000. ESD is only paying half. We are leveraging our funds with contributions from other major economic development organizations, very notably National Grid and New York State Electric and Gas, but about a dozen other economic development entities throughout the state, for example, Invest Buffalo Niagara and Seneca County IDA and Fulton County IDA. And that's beneficial not only because it extends our reach, if you will, but also because there is this sense of working as a team. The commissioner is fond of saying that economic development is a team sport, and when we have the team functioning together, all of the other economic development organizations in the state, the whole is much larger than the sum of the parts. So now let me just dive into the 4 initiatives. One is to employ a third-party marketing firm to pursue leads for us. this is absolutely tedious work. We identify targets, and they get us conference calls and meetings with C-suite executives in corporations that we have one reason or another to believe might consider doing a project in New York. It's cold calling. And we've done this for the past 2 years with our partners, and we've had some success. In fact, 3 projects in the pipeline associated with those efforts, 2 of which are still confidential, but it's coming. It's a long-term play. And we're going to do it again. And so this grant, $200,000 of it is matched by $200,000 from the other partners to employ this firm over the next 2 years to keep digging for leads for us. And we may do some other lead generation activities associated with it if there's funds left. The next initiative is we co-sponsor the semi-annual forums of the International Asset Management Council, IAMC. That is an organization of corporate real estate executives from industrial firms. So they have a lot to say with where the new facilities of major industrial corporations will go. You know, household names are the members: Pfizer, BASF, 3M, and on and on. So they're a key target for us. They're also the folks who hire site selection consultants. So they go to these meetings too. And our sponsorship typically entails the New York State of Opportunity logo on their hotel card keys for their entire stay. So they have a constant reminder of our economic development efforts. And that's a small portion of this grant. There'll be 4 forums over the 2-year period, and we put in $16,000, and that's being matched by economic development organizations as such. The last 2 components are actually studies where we're trying to gather market intelligence. One is to do a study on our competitiveness for semiconductor plant attraction. We had a couple of situations over the last couple of years where we were being considered for a new semiconductor plant. And we didn't get them, but we didn't fail to get them because we lost to another state. We failed to get them because in one instance it didn't go forward, and in another instance they did it in Korea, not the United States. But what we found out in the debriefing with the site selection firms is that we were first on the list of the domestic locations. Of course, we said, great, can we share that information with the world? And they said, of course not, it's the intellectual property of our client. So what this study would do would take a deep dive into the competitiveness of the various mega sites. We talked about Stamp earlier, those few places in the state that are actually large enough to host another semiconductor plant, and compare them with the competing places step by step, very deep dive, because we are very confident that study, which we will own, we can put out there and say, see, look how well we compete, and put it out in the industry. So that's the third component. And then the final component is a look into the potential leverage we have and potential projects we could glean from the homeland security and cybersecurity industry. Many years ago, and I was around during the first Cuomo administration, we discovered that New York State bought half of the transit equipment in the United States, some component of New York State. And so we began to leverage that market power with the industry to get manufacturers to produce here. And as a result, Kawasaki, Alstom, Bombardier, they're all here. Homeland security and cybersecurity as an industry isn't classified as such. Our research people started to look at it, and it's hard to figure out just where we stand, but there is a suspicion that New York State is in fact a leader in such purchases as well. And when I say the state, not just the state, but entities within the state. Being a host of the financial services industry in this state, having been the target of terrorist attacks, we probably are better invested. And we want to determine if we are, and then if we are, to, with the help of a consultant, get that message out to that industry and try to turn that into potential projects. That would be the 4th thing we would do over the next 2 years. And in every case, there are economic development partners working through the auspices of the State Economic Development Council prepared to match our investment.
Okay, good job.
Great summary.
Any,
Interesting stuff.
that's Januszewski. He's one of a kind.
Yeah, like I say, I
Hopefully
started-
you won't have any questions for him, or we'll be here a long time. I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding.
I like
No,
to say, I
that was-
started just before the Cuomo administration, and I don't mean this one.
Okay. That was good. All right, so market intelligence, business development, and what we call the team sport of economic development. Any questions or comments? Any other questions or comments? Any comments from the public on this? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Great, thank you. Where are we? Ed Mazinski. Ed, are you on the line regarding the non-discretionary projects consent calendar?
Yes, I am, Howard. Good morning,
Good morning.
to everyone. Non-discretionary projects refer to those listed in the New York State budget that enhance the state's communities through cultural, educational, research and development, and civic organizations. These projects originate from the governor, assembly, or senate, and ESD is named in the legislation to administer the funding. ESD does not select the recipients of funding. This month, there is just one item. It's executive sponsored for your consideration, the Cold Spring Harbor Lab CTR Capital Project. This is a grant of $25 million to Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory in Nassau County for major renovations to modernize a laboratory and purchase new equipment to establish a new center for therapeutics research. Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory has been on Long Island for over 125 years, conducting research that has resulted in 8 Nobel Prizes and has been a National Cancer Center Institute affiliate since 1987. The new Center for Therapeutics Research will attract leading scientists and advance therapeutics for genetic diseases and in biopharmacology. The project is expected to be completed in December 2016. Thank you.
Okay, Ed, thanks so much. Any questions or comments from the directors on this? Any comments from the public? Motion to approve? Thank you. Sessors, seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None? Thank you. Thank you, Ed. Tom Conoscenti is with us. Tom will present an item related to the Fountain Avenue Land Use Improvement and Residential Project. Tom.
Good morning. The directors are being asked to affirm the Fountain Avenue Land Use Improvement and Residential General Project Plan as modified, affirm the Land Use Improvement and Residential Project findings, and adopt the State Environmental Quality Review Act, or SEQR findings, and to take related actions. As the directors will recall, back in April, the directors adopted the Fountain Avenue Land Use Improvement and Residential General Project Plan and authorized the corporation to hold a public hearing. In May, we held a public hearing, and in June, we closed the public comment period. In July, the directors certified the final EIS, and staff reported on the public hearing and public comment period. As a reminder, the general project plan calls for the developer, Fountain Seaview 1 Housing Development Corporation, to build an approximately 1.268 million square foot mixed-use development comprised of affordable residential space, ground floor retail, commercial and/or community facility space, and parking. The development on the 2 parcels would yield approximately 1,169 units of affordable housing for households earning up to 60% of the area median income, and includes senior units and units for the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities. The project would also include a privately owned, publicly accessible open space called Schroeder's Walk that would effectively extend Schroeder's Avenue between Erskine Street and Fountain Avenue. The modifications in this general project plan from the version in April are twofold. First, Parcel A was further subdivided into lots 500 and 501. And second, the design guidelines have been updated to reflect changes in actual designs for Parcel A. Thank you, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Any questions on this project from the directors?
Is any money coming from OPWDD?
So OPWDD will be involved with the operator of the units that will be set aside for OPWDD. But the actual construction of the project will be funded through state and city and federal funding sources.
Other questions? Did that answer the question?
Well,
You have a follow-up question?
Our money's not involved here. Is there ESD one?
Is there estate funds?
No, there is no ESD funding in this project.
It's low-income housing.
Yeah.
Most of the money is coming from the feds in the city. I'm for that.
Assessor likes it when others are spending the money. Any other questions or comments? Any comments from the public? Motion to approve. Thank you. Seconded. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Clayton Besh will present an item related to the New York State Innovation Capital Fund. Clayton.
Thank you, Howard. We would like to ask the board for authorization for the New York State Innovation Venture Capital Fund to co-invest up to $750,000 in Graphenix Development, Inc., and in their current round of $2.27 million convertible note. Graphenix Development, Inc. is a Buffalo startup that has commercialized University of Buffalo intellectual property to develop a high energy density anode for the growing ultracapacitor market. The company is working with Kodak Film Lab in the Eastman Business Park and is producing more than 1,000 meters of product a month. Ultracapacitors, as you may know, store energy using the physical separation of positive and negative charges rather than the slower chemical process that batteries use, which makes it attractive for certain applications like regenerative braking in electric vehicles. The company already has proven commercial application of its technology with revenue from a strategic partner, a leading ultracap manufacturer in China. We wanted to note that Kodak Corp has recognized the value of this company and is both upgrading the production line for Graphenix film growing and is also investing directly in the company along with the New York State Innovation Venture Capital Fund. Are there any questions that I might answer?
Any questions for Clayton on this innovation venture investment? Any comments from the public on this? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. And seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Clayton.
Thank you.
Yep, Rob Godley is up again, and this time we'll present an item relating to the approval of a rotating team of underwriters and financial advisors for bond issuances. Rob.
Good morning and thank you. This item is to request that the board approve a slate of underwriters and financial advisors for bond issuance. In April of this year, ESD issued an RFP seeking firms to serve in these capacities. The RFP was advertised in the New York State Contractor Reporter as well as the Bond Buyer, was posted on ESD's website, and additionally was emailed over to 150 representatives of 52 firms. 45 firms responded, of which 13 are MWBE firms and 3 were service-disabled veteran-owned business firms. The responses were evaluated by a team that included individuals from Treasury, Portfolio Management, Legal, and Office of Contractor and Supplier Diversity. The evaluation criteria are described in your board materials. Based on the team's evaluation, the board is being asked to approve a slate of 13 senior managers, 23 co-managers, and 4 financial advisors for a period of 2 years. It is also requested the board grant authority to the chief financial officer or treasurer the ability to extend the term for 1 year, and grant the authority to the chief executive officer to further extend the term for an additional year. The names of the proposed firms are detailed in your board material. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Rob. Any questions or comments from the directors on this item?
Yes, obviously there were lots of MWB applicants.
Yes.
As a result of the selection process, how did they do?
Okay. We will have 3 MWBEs in the senior manager pool.
Out of how many?
Out of 13. And in the co-managers, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 firms.
Out of?
Out of 23. Out of 23.
Not bad.
30-something% in both cases.
Any other questions or comments from directors? Sorry, what was that?
There was 7 in the co-managers. Peter corrected my my number. There's 7 in the co-managers out of 23.
7 out of 23, okay. Any other question or follow-up on the?
No, I will continue to ask this question whenever I have the opportunity.
Okay, great. Any other questions or comments from the directors? Any comments from the public? Is there a motion to approve? Somebody, thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Rob, I apologize. Sukang, we skipped over you inadvertently. You have an item regarding the historic preservation consulting services in connection with the women's building, civic and land use improvement.
Thank you. Good morning. The directors are requested to authorize a contract amendment with the historic preservation consulting firm, Lee Saltzman Architects. Last September, the directors authorized entering into a contract with the consultant to prepare a historic structure report and alternatives analysis in connection with the redevelopment of the former Bayview Correctional Facility located at 550 West 20th Street in West Chelsea. The historic reports are needed to facilitate the consultation process with the State Historic Preservation Office, or SHPO, which is required due to the building's eligibility for listing on the state and national registers of historic places. The proposed contract amendment is needed to cover additional expenses as a result of an expansion of the scope of work for completing the reports, including additional archival review, preparation of an archaeological evaluation, addition of a 4th alternative to be evaluated, assistance with the development and review of a letter of resolution with SHPO, and additional coordination and strategic planning with ESD and its consultants. For these reasons, a contract amendment is requested in the amount of $73,000, bringing the total contract amount to $273,000. The contract will continue to be funded entirely from an impressed account funded by the developer. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Sue on this item? Any comments from the public on this? Is there a motion to approve? Thank you. Seconded. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Simon has an item relating to a contract amendment for legal services in connection with labor and employment matters. Simon.
Thank you very much, Howard, and good morning, members of the board. I will be very brief. The excellent women-owned law firm of Hogway, Newman, Regal, and Kenny, LLP, has provided very superior services to ESD in the areas of labor and employment. They were first appointed to provide these services by resolution of the board in June 2015, and for 1 year, and staff is seeking an extension of that appointment for a further 2 years, retroactive to June 2016, when the first 1 year expired. In addition, we're seeking an addition of $55,000 to the compensation, to be a maximum compensation to be granted to the firm for their services in this area. And I would just like to point out that through an editing error, there was an omission from the board resolution, which we will fix in the final documents, because the extension of Hogway Newman's retainer for 2 years was dropped from the resolution, though it is in the materials before you.
So
Thank
the
you.
resolution that we're voting on includes a, what, 2-year?
2-year extension and $55,000 addition in potential fees.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah. Let me go back to my issue. Is this a minority firm?
Yes, it is a woman-owned firm, a WBE, certified by ESD.
How often do we put those positions for bid?
That's an excellent question. They come and go. Sometimes they come, labor and employment claims come in a little clump, and then we won't have another one for a number of years. And they've come up in a number of different contexts.
The question was, how often do we bid the contract?
I'm sorry?
How often is a contract bid?
We've just, we are just completing a new slate of pre-qualified counsel right now. So we'll be coming to the board in due course, probably at the October or November meeting, to approve a new slate of pre-qualified counsel.
So,
Go ahead.
so is it every 2 years, every 3 years, every 4 years?
Yes, good question. Under the Public Authorities Law, personal services contracts such as legal have to be renewed every year if they are going to extend for more than 1 year.
Any other questions?
Well, again, I share Hilda's interest in trying to ensure that the law firms that do work for this corporation include minority and women-owned law firms. So I don't know how you can get us involved, but at any rate, when you come forward, I would hope to see representation by women and minority-owned law firms.
I can personally assure you that it is a very high priority in the selection of law firms for our pre-qualified list, and you will see...
Have you ever had a Latino law firm?
Yes, most definitely.
You know, one of the things, ESD, we run the MWBE program here, and we have oversight for the entire state agency process. So this is, as you would understand, a very high priority, and this is like ground zero, probably the wrong example, but this is, you know, home for MWBE efforts across the state, and we take it extremely seriously. So we welcome your input and we welcome your interest, but I assure you this agency is exemplary in the way it strives to, you know, comply with MWBE goals.
That's why I'm so proud to be a member of the board.
All right, good. Did we have any other items? I think that kind of covers it. One more, sorry.
Or is that just an informational budget?
What else? And one more? We have no more? Okay. Which is the last item?
Could I get a vote on that?
I don't know. That's a bet. Is there any other questions or comments for Simon? Any comments from the public? Is there a motion to approve?
I so moved.
Thank you. Seconded. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hold on, there's some item which I am not apparently
It's just it's
properly
included in the
versed on.
materials for informational purposes. The last
Okay,
item.
so it's a motion to adjourn, is that correct? Okay, thank you very much. Is anyone making a motion to adjourn?
I just did.
All right, good man. We're adjourned.